Hello, one and all, or should I say good day, as we're here in Australia for the Season 1 finale of AIRS F1. As I said, we're in Australia around the Adelaide Street Circuit, which plays host to our finale today, and what a finale we have in store. Thomas McHugh has a 4-point lead coming into this race over your pole sitter for today's race, Mihael Valjak. Valjak has led most of the season, but recently has lost the title lead to Thomas McHugh with a slightly bad run of form. And Thomas McHugh has come on form, won last race, I believe he won the race before as well. Anyways, today we have an absolute cracker lined up, and I cannot wait to get into it. 28 laps of this brilliant street circuit. Even though I'm not a fan of street circuits, it'll play a great host to this race. And as I've already mentioned, today's pole sitter is Mihael Valjak, followed by the person who's going to probably act as McHugh's wingman, Finley Taylor. And we'll come back to the other wingman in this situation later. Starting the second row in third place is McHugh, and then Murray Sr., great fourth place qualifying position. Christopher Coburn is in fifth, followed by James Smith. Then we have Weth Polk in 7th and Isabel Harvey in 8th. You may have noticed already that Louis Sage is not in the top 8. And let's just say this qualifying grid is a little bit strange. Then we have Mitchell Langenberg and Matthew Barton, Johan de Jong, and finally Louis Sage down in 12th. But my god, we haven't quite got to the strange bit yet. Ray Nakakawa 13th, Alan Kopich 14th, and Juan Luis Ramirez in 15th in the Moderna. Yeah, I don't know how that happened either, but he's done it, and this is the first qualifying that they've made, and it's 15th. This is incredible. And of course, Moderna don't exist next season, so this is the final race for Moderna, and Juan Luis Ramirez has stuck it in 15th, and it's Nicolo Sciacatano in 16th for AGS. Then we have Justin Regani, and then Cologne's Yuri Tood in 18th. Oh my goodness me, this was a strange qualifying. Samuel Grad in 19th, TJ Nisbet 20th, Isaac Fisher 21st, Giancarlo De Campo 22nd, Mir Opner 23rd, Alan Curtis 24th, Batu Louis once again replacing a race band Tyrrell driver. She is in 25th, and David Granville rounds out the grid. Yeah, I cannot stress how strange this grid is with what you would consider back markers running midfield. And Tyrrell of Batu Louis didn't almost qualify for this one. Jesus Christ. Right, well, I think without further ado, there's nothing else to do other than to get to the however many red lights. Here we go, guys. Here we go. So you're going to be looking at the light on the top. Going to wait for that to go green. Lights are green and we're racing. It's a good start from Mihael Valjak, and it's a good start from Finley Taylor, but he's going to slip in behind as they head towards the first chicanes. And it looks like everyone's got through somewhat cleanly as we lag through the first turns. But indeed, it looks like the front runners have got through cleanly. There's a bit of a gap back from Joseph Murray Sr. to the Ferraris. And so it is a good start from Mihael Valjak. And as we're on board with him now, as we head round the right-hander, going down the little bit of a straight, through the little kink and onto the bigger straight, we can see that Mihael Valjak has the lead so far, followed by Finley Taylor, followed by Thomas McHugh. And the championship situation I didn't quite mention because I knew I was mentioning, as Finley Taylor dives down the inside of Mihael Valjak as they head into the hairpin for the first time. The championship situation is this. Thomas McHugh has a 4-point advantage over Valjak before this race. And McHugh, no matter what, will not win on countback. So McHugh needs to beat Valjak. Beating Valjak would mean he would win. but if he were to lose to Valjak, Valjak cannot have more than a 4-point differential on him. So, for example, if Valjak were to finish first, Thomas McHugh would need second, because third would have 4 points, and as Thomas McHugh's going backwards here, he's dropping down to 5th, but I'm trying to explain. So if Valjak were to win, Thomas McHugh could not get third, because that would put them even on points, and that would let Valjak win on countback. So currently, with Valjak second and McHugh in 4th, that is 8-5, and McHugh would come out with 1 point. He would win by 1 point. As we're blasting down the straight, as we're going to watch Thomas McHugh, as Valjak's trying to make a move for the lead. As I said, once again, this is a 28 lap race, a little bit longer than what's conventional. As there's a slight yellow flag there, I'm not entirely sure what that was. As the group is a little bit spread out at the moment, as you can see, Isabel Harvey, with her McLaren driving back pocket, is battling for 5th place with the Ferrari of Christopher Coben. Thomas McHugh is sat behind the Benetton of Joseph Murray Sr. on his way to Ferrari land. And Mihael Valjak has the race lead at the moment, as Thomas McHugh desperately trying to get past Murray Sr. And indeed he has done so very cleanly. And up front, Finney Taylor is going to be charging to try and overtake Valjak, as he knows what's at stake. He wants to get McLaren a Drivers' Champion, and obviously he's not in the title fight himself, but he can help his teammate out, and somewhat good friends they are, so he'll be trying. And here he comes up the inside, heading into the hairpin. I think this is one of the easiest overtaking spots on the circuit. He drifts it through, and he has made that move very cleanly. Finley Taylor, your new race leader. As we're going to go back through the pack to show you who's where. McHugh is 3rd, followed by Murray Sr., Harvey, Coben, Polk, James Smith. As we're going to go back, Louis Sach is 9th. Then we have Matthew Barton, Aki Kawadi, Jon Kopich, Juan Luis Ramirez battling with Shia Catano for 14th place. This is absolutely brilliant. Let's go on board with the Moderna, as you haven't even seen this car this season. Lamborghini powered. Has a nice deep rasp to it. Shame it's not very quick, as he set 25.1 to Finley Taylor's 15, pretty much 16 flat. So they're 9 seconds off in race trim. That's kind of sad, but hey, he's still doing it. He's defending from Shia Catano, who's not in a quick car himself. And good luck to him. I would say get points, but I hope he gets a top 20. And I hope he finishes, of course. Reliability is a thing. Anyways, Finley Taylor, your race leader. As we actually have a pitter. It's Mitchell Langenberg. What's happened to Langenberg? I assume he's lost his front wing. But how has he lost his front wing? That is the question. So, I think it goes without saying that Langenberg's race is pretty much over at this point, because there's no way he's going to be able to come back. He's a pit stop down, and obviously we don't do pit stops here. So it's just going to be a case of setting fast laps to catch the back markers. And this has happened a few laps back, so I'm not sure why he hasn't pit. Oh no. So what has happened here? So he's alongside James Smith and behind Isabel Harvey, and he's going to go hitting into the back of West Pope. He gets his front up, he gets carjacked a bit, and he gets on the curb, loses all traction, almost takes Sach out, and he pulls off to the side, losing his front wing. And that has actually ruined his race, and that's completely unfortunate from the Belgian, but these things happen, I'm afraid. We're going to go through the field as Granville's in last, well, second to last, because, Tractano. Then we have Curtis Ottner, and then we have the Coloni, Yuri Tsuga battling with Isaac Fishaw, Batu Louis up to 20th, TJ Nisbet 19th, Tocampo Regani, Shia Catano Garadin, Luis Ramirez, Kopic, Akikawa, De Jong, Barton, Loose H trying to catch up a bit, trying to do the wingman role. And here's Smith trying to overtake Harvey. That's a very brave move from Smith. Never afraid of putting an interesting move. Fits with the personality of the guy. Then we have Isabel Harvey in 7th. Wef Poke in 6th. This is a brilliant performance from the Scuderia Italia. He's been outshone by his teammates for most of the year. And in this case, he's actually doing a brilliant job in 6th. And the battle for best of the rest between Scuderia Italia and Tyrrell is still there. There's still a battle going on. And speaking of battles, it's not just them in the constructors. As Wef Poke's gone very wide. Oh! Isabel Harvey's made a mistake too. So Wef Poke's gone wide. I think it sucked Isabel Harvey and she's lost 3 positions. Isabel Harvey there, yeah, absolutely. Just ran wide. Perhaps outbroke herself trying to just follow Poke, and yeah, let's put her down to 9th. As we're going to go up the field, as we're going to see Mihael Valjak has the lead, and Toss McHugh's in behind. That would net 2 points in McHugh's favour. So at the moment, McHugh would be your championship winner, as we are on lap 6 at 28. There's been so much action already. And I believe there's still action to come. I'm sure that the Williams driver will know where his rival is. The Williams crew will be putting pit boards out, I'm assuming, to show him where he is. And at the moment, Valjak is doing all he can by leading this race and gapping the people behind. This is exactly what the Croatian should be doing. But he's got to hope that McHugh does not finish in 2nd. And at the moment, McHugh is actually closing down the Williams driver. Looking back, it's Murray Senior in 3rd, followed by Taylor, followed by Coben. Sage is now in 6th, followed by Pope, Smith, Harvey, Barton, De Jong. I'm just trying to have a look where the Moderna is. The Moderna has massively dropped down. I don't think that's a surprise. He's down in 18th now. And he's under attack from TJ Nisbet. And Shai Katano in 15th, still carrying the torch for the backmarker boys. As Reina Akikawa is in 12th. She's not going to be enjoying being beaten comfortably by her teammate Wef Poke, who's going to the fledgling Andrea Moda team next season. Let's see how that goes for him. And up front, McHugh, we're going to get a little on board here, as he's closed the gap up from perhaps about 4, maybe 3 seconds, around that mark, to just 1 second. And he's really close now, and I think soon we may see a move for the lead between the 2 title contenders. And it's no secret that these 2 have been in a league of their own this season. Valjak has had the most wins on 6. I believe McHugh is on 4 wins, but he's had more podiums, only being off the podium twice, I'd like to say, as he set the fastest lap, by the way. 1:13.3, what a brilliant lap that is. As you see, he's right on the back of him now. McHugh has been very quick this weekend. And as you can see, he's very, very close now. It's not going to be long before he makes a move, perhaps down at the hairpin. That seems to be a popular overtaking spot, as it's taken slowly. And you want to have it. You want to go wide in, cut it tight back, and then wide out. But if you're making an overtake, you go shallow line and just block past them. But I think he's a little too far back for this for an attempt this time. And indeed, the gap stays at 5/10 as they go through the hairpin. We're on lap 8 of 28 today. Remember, no pit stops. As they're going to blast down to the final corner. As we're going to leave them to chase each other, as they're pushing each other to the limit. Finley Taylor is back in 3rd, followed by Christopher Coben. Murray Sr. and Louis H. Louis H has made a good recovery from his qualifying position, which was P12. Not good from him. As Sage tries to put it up the inside going into the first few turns. Oh, he gets very sideways. He needs to stop pushing that much. That's a bridge too far for even him. And the brilliant Williams package. James Smith in 7th. And Weth Poke in 8th. Isabel Harvey is 9th. Matthew Barton rounding out the top 10. So why don't we go back and see our front 2, and it's going to become a front 3 soon, as Finley Taylor is setting the fastest sectors at the moment, and Valjak perhaps going a little bit defensive into that corner. Not so smart, as McHugh's too far back to make a move. But hey, I'm not one to say, as we're going to be entering lap 10 of 28. How the laps are going to go very quickly. Absolutely. This track is only about 1 minute 15 long, and we're doing more laps today than we've ever done because it is the finale and so much is at stake. And at the moment, McHugh is really looking on Valjak, and it won't be long before we perhaps see a move for the lead. And that, if they swap positions now, that would give McHugh a 6-point lead and obviously winning the title. And McHugh, of course, is going to want to win this race, but he's not going to risk it, surely. Not when he knows that this is a championship winning position at the moment. And Finley Taylor's dropped a little bit further off, perhaps not wanting to interfere with this battle, as we're seeing the move happen here. McHugh up the inside of Valjak, and he's absolutely done so with ease. And now Thomas McHugh, your new race leader at the Australian Grand Prix, and Mihael Valjak demoted to 2nd. Finley Taylor trying to close them down. Then we have Murray Sr., who's 7.5 off. So it's a big gap forward from 3rd to 4th. Louis H is your 5th place driver. Then you have the 2 Ferraris and Isabel Harvey. Weth Poke in 9th and Barton 10th. Then we have De Jong, Akikawa, Gradin, Kopich, Batu Louis up to 15th. This is a great performance from her after a pretty abysmal qualifying. She's already made up 10 positions. Then we have Regani, Shai Kitano. Gotta love to see the AGS doing well. Nisbet, for sure. De Campo, Curtis. Too good. Ramirez, Granville, Opner, and of course Mitchell Langenberg in last. As once again, here we go. This is for the lead. As you can see in the mirror, Valjak goes up the inside and he's going to charge up the inside. Minimal contact made, a little bit of a drift there from Valjak as he desperately tries to get it slowed down into the corner, blocking McHugh in the process. And so that is the next move for the lead as we're about to enter lap 12 of 28, and Finley Taylor is right on the back of his teammate now. He's going to want to be gentle with him because, of course, if Taylor were to overtake McHugh, that would give Valjak the title. As Taylor is going to try and make the move, they're side by side, a bit of contact. I think Taylor clipped a bit of the wall. And I think Valjak's getting away, and this is absolutely not what they want, not what McLaren want. They want Thomas McHugh to finish ahead of Taylor and win McLaren the title. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but there is still a battle between Williams and McLaren in the Constructors, and that is absolutely all to play for now. And as we head down the straight, it actually seems like Murray Sr. has closed off a huge gap, as perhaps the front three squabbling has allowed him to close up. And Louis H as well, coming from P12, he's up to 5th, and he's not that far off the leaders. The 2 Ferraris as well, don't see much coming from them, but they're certainly not out. As we're going to go on board with Joseph Murray Sr., this is his final race for Benetton, as it is people's final race for many teams, but this is one that perhaps he didn't want to leave the Benetton team, but they pushed him aside, and he's going to Ferrari, and he's looking forward to that. And I wish him well. Absolutely, Ferrari should do wonders for this guy, and hasn't got too many years on the clock in the racing Formula 1 scene. Recently he's taken up a drive in DTM, perhaps that'll be a full-time switch once he retires. And he talked about retirement this year, of course, but he eventually decided to stay on. That's why we're focusing on Murray Sr. at the moment, as he's right in the slipstream of Finley Taylor. Perhaps we're going to see a lovely move as we head down towards the hairpin. Is he going to pull to the inside? Yes, he does. And pretty clean move, all things considered. He gets a little bit sideways, but yeah, he's made that move pretty well. And yeah, that's him into third place. So up front, McHugh is behind Valjak, and the gap is coming up to 1.8 seconds as we enter lap 14 of 28. That of course means half race distance. Going back, Sage has actually been overtaken by one of the Ferraris, and Weth Poke is in the last points paying position. As we're going to quickly cycle down the grid to see who's where. The AGS still running in 18th. That is a brilliant performance so far from him. The cloning of Yuri too good in 22nd. Another good performance. And Joan Luis Ramirez, well, he's doing what he can, but obviously that Moderna is the worst car on the grid. So this is the first time they've qualified for a race, of course, and this will be the last time they qualify for a race. So take your screenshots while you can, as Juan Luis Ramirez is going to be taking the first and final race, which is weird to say, but of course that is the truth. And he's actually ahead of both LaRussas, who have fallen down the ladder in terms of speed. And for next season, it seems like they have a moderately okay car, but they're going to be staying roughly where they are. All eyes on the front though, as we have the battle for the lead between Williams' Mihael Valjak, the Croatian, and Thomas McHugh, the Irishman in the McLaren. As they bolt it around the right-hander, as we head down the mini straight before we get to the proper straight, as we go in on it now. As we're going to look in the mirror, and you can see how much Thomas McHugh will close up in the slipstream. Look at that. He closes up massively, and he will go to the inside going into this corner. Looks like he's outbroke himself a little bit, gets a bit sideways. He's actually made that move brilliantly. Valjak being a bit undefensive through there. And in fact, he's going to come under attack from the Benetton soon. So Valjak wants to keep his eyes out, and if he can, he wants to be hoping that he can get into the lead. Because right now, Thomas McHugh would easily win the championship. So we're on lap 16 of 28. As we flow through the first few corners, onto the straight over the crest, and into the right-hander. This Adelaide circuit is not one I know particularly well, but it's still pretty cool nonetheless. And I'm very happy to have this track as the finale of the series. And so far it's actually provided pretty good racing. The most overtakes has to be at the hairpin, but we've seen a couple in different places. And at the end of the day, that's how F1 is. As, look at that, Finley Taylor up the inside of Murray Sr. He's made a very good move there. I think Murray Sr. gave him a little bit of a tap. And these four are all closing up massively. and that is going to prove crucial in this battle for the championship. Will the others get involved? Valjak will be hoping so. McHugh will not be hoping so. He'll be trying to win the race. Sorry, I had to yawn, but McHugh there is massively under attack from Valjak as he's been overtaken into the right-hander, even though Valjak did have a little look up into the inside of turn 1. But he's now into the lead, perhaps seeing that he has got some pace, has enough fuel and the tyres to try and push in front. Blasting around the right-hander now. And down the straight. I think McHugh is a little bit far back to make a move on Valjak. And indeed he is. And so the battle continues. McHugh is going to be wanting a little bit of help from his teammate here. And what can his teammate do? I'll take this time at the moment to say, if you are enjoying the race so far, give us a like, subscribe, comment, and join our Discord, of course, that is in the description. And in the live chat at the moment, in the premiere, tell us who you want to win. I know Toodles, who is the guy behind Thomas McHugh. Of course, he'll be watching, I assume. And so I assume he'll be wanting his driver to win. And Mihael Valjak, if he is in the chat, as he's been a little bit sporadic, but he is there. Mihael Valjak, you want your driver to win, of course, and there'll be other people there too. And tell us what you want, and what you want to see, who you want to win. As in the background, I'm going to get a little look at Louis Sage, who is also probably watching this race. And he was probably disappointed with his qualifying position, but he has definitely made up for it in the race. With his best lap of the race being 1 minute 13.2, being the faster lap of the race. Clearly he has got some pace as I mess up my words. But hey, I've just seen in the foreground, probably not the right word for it, but McHugh has dropped down to 4th and Valjak is in 1st, and you know what that means. The title would swing towards the Croatian and he would take the title if it were to finish right now. And of course that's always a possibility. There could be an accident that causes a red flag. And I'm trying to work out if we're over 2/3 race distance, and if we are, then it would be over, and that would be the title finish. As I was going to say more words there, but it didn't come out. Mihael Valjak then, your race leader. He's actually catching Mitchell Langenberg, these two good friends in the paddock, both sponsored by Camel, and not from the same place, but yeah, they know each other quite well, the Belgian and the Croatian. And hopefully if the Belgian sees Valjak coming in behind, he'll let him past. Albeit I don't think that'll be for a few laps. That Benetton is certainly not slow, certainly not a back marker. It's just the unfortunate occurrence that happened earlier in the race that caused Mitchell Langenberg to fall back down the order. And as you can see, Thomas McHugh has got into 3rd once again, and Louis Sage is going to try now as Murray blocks him off very potently. And that's actually caused Sage to slow down a bit, and that's good defending from the Benetton driver. Kept his head and defended well, but McHugh has got through, and I'll be honest, the Benetton driver probably doesn't care about the championship situation. He'll just be wanting to get the best finish he can. And up front, Finley Taylor is going to have to do God's work and overtake Mihael Valjak. As we're on lap 20 of 28, that's 8 laps to go. And at the moment, the championship is very much hotting up. At the moment, the championship will finish, I don't know how many points to how many points, but it would be dead level and Valjak would win on the benefit of having more wins. It would be 7-4. So at the moment Valjak has 6 wins, 5 of them came in a row of course, and McHugh has 4 wins. So Valjak can open his wins to 7 out of 12, which is absolutely incredible. That's over half of the races he's won this season. And in fact, it's kind of a miracle that, well, you would say after Silverstone, where he just won his 5th race of the season, you would say that it's completely over and Valjak has it. But with a bit of inconsistency coming in the second half of the year, Valjak has dropped and allowed McHugh to get back into that title fight and eventually overtaking him. As we're actually going to sit on board as we're coming up behind the back markers, the Croatian is slipstreaming Langenberg. Langenberg's just going to let him past. No defence there from the Benetton as they come in towards the hairpin. And Valjak gets a bit sideways there. Probably just a bit too much curb. And yeah, he's past the back marker. Not back marker, the 26th place driver, but not a back marker, he's just had an accident early on. The back markers are coming up though, as you can see in the distance it's Amirot, Granville and Ramirez. As it's Finley Taylor who's going to be closing up now as he's on the back of Langenberg, and Langenberg is not letting him past. However, Finley Taylor's going to try and make a move, not into this corner. This is absolutely helping the Williams driver so far. If Langenberg doesn't get out of the way, then that's going to allow the Williams to get away, and it is absolutely doing so. The gap is up to 1 3/4 seconds. As Taylor is going to try and put up the inside into there, doesn't quite work, and that allows McHugh to get past. Perhaps that was an attempt of getting Langenberg past, getting him out of the way for both of them. And Taylor is trying to go up the inside of his teammate. That is not what they wanted to see. As Finley Taylor spins, Finley Taylor has spun it, and he's out. He's out the race. He's out the race. Oh my goodness me! That changes the entire perspective of the race. How the fuck has this happened? Finley Taylor goes up the inside of Thomas McHugh with a late lunge. He gets on the grass, spins it, and in getting out of the way of Morris Sr. has put it into the wall and lost the wheel. Finley Taylor, you have bottled it, my friends. Perhaps showing why he wasn't in the championship fight. Finley Taylor is out of the race, and a yellow flag is out pretty understandably, but I believe the marshals will be able to wheel it out. And in fact, that has allowed Mihael Valjak to get a 4.5 second lead, and Thomas McHugh actually doesn't need it because he's in second, and of course that means that the gap would be 2 points in McHugh's favour. The championship would go his way, but I warn you to look in behind, because who's in third at the moment? It is Louis Sage, and Louis Sage is a Williams driver. So what Louis Sage is going to want to do is overtake McHugh, who, you know, he may have damage from that incident. He may have damage. In fact, Louis Sage is right on the back of him already. And so, if Louis Sage overtakes, then that will in fact mean, he's made a hash of that right-hander. Albeit he's closing up with that supreme straight line speed. As you can see, he's closing up masses on the brake. Look at that. But as I was saying, if Louis Sage overtakes McHugh, that will have a 4-point differential, and that is the gap already, and Valjak would win if it finished as a 1-2 with Valjak winning the race. So Louis Sage becomes a pivotal part of the situation for the championship. With 4 laps to go on lap 24 of 28, what's it going to be? Louis Sage could, in theory, win this for his teammates. And how brilliant of a climax would it be if we see a battle where McHugh is trying to get second and everyone in behind is trying to get past him for a podium place, and inadvertently ruining the championship for McHugh. That is a Nigel Mansell moment. As we're going to go and sit on board, as Louis H has a little look again through there, but doesn't make it work. And clearly he's shown some pace, but he's not quite. Oh my goodness, look at the overspeed in the slipstream. But no move made there, as going through the hairpin. Isabel Harvey's up into 5th. This is brilliant performance from her, as Murray Senior has dropped to 6th, Smith to 7th, and Matthew Barton is in the points. That's great for him. As Valjak has an 8.3 second lead, so really it doesn't come down to this. Valjak is doing all he can and has perhaps an unsurpassable lead. Whoa, my goodness me! Oh, I've just seen something incredible. I need to skip back. Sorry, lag. What has happened to Louis H? He's in the wall! So he's tried to dive up the inside of McHugh, but he gets sideways and plants in the wall. My goodness me. Louis H has just bottled it. What is it with people bottling it? So he's tried to get up the inside. He's clipped too much cone. He's just gone into the wall. He hasn't lost the wheel. But he's gone over the barrier, I think. Yes, he has gone over the barrier. So Louis H is actually out of this race. My goodness me. What a finale this is. Louis H is trying to find an entry back into the track, but he can't, and that is his race over. He's lost his front wing anyway, so even if he did find a way back onto the track, I saw that in the corner of the screen, and I'm sorry I couldn't cycle back to that quicker, and I'm sorry I didn't catch that live, but my goodness me. So that's one McLaren and one Williams out. Holy crap. As here comes Christopher Coburn. He fancies his chances as he's gone up the inside. He's made a brilliant move. And in fact, Thomas McHugh has kept the line. He's defending hard because of course he knows what's at stake at the moment. He cannot lose that second position, not to a Ferrari of all people as well. And in fact he has defended well. As they blast down the straight, as you can see with our little camera at the last corner. As we enter lap 26 to 28, the gap for, oh, that's a Benetton. That shows if Murray Senior, he's binned it as well. What the hell is happening here? Is there perhaps a change of track conditions that has caused this? I promise, he's just clipped too much curb too. He puts a bit of opposite lock on. And he saves doing what Louis H did, and he's in the gravel. He's going to pull it out, but he's just got too much curb and lost it really. And that is Murray Senior out of. He's not out of the points actually. He's in 8th, but my goodness me, the gap between first and second is 11.6 seconds. So it is without a doubt that Valjak is going to take a win unless he bottles it on his own, which I cannot see him doing. He's a class driver and he would not do that. He can handle the pressure of leading very well. And I apologise for neglecting the back markers. I've just had to focus on the front, and I'm sure you can understand why. What an absolute spectacle this has been so far. And Thomas McHugh, he just needs the finish in second at this point, and he would win the championship by 2 points. And in fact, I'm going to quickly cycle back, as there doesn't seem to be too much battling. Isabel Harvey's in 4th, that's a brilliant result for her. We have a Minardi in 6th, and a Yuriality in 7th. Murray Senior in 8th after that slight incident at turn 1. Then there's Gradin, De Jong, Batu Louis, Akikawa, Kopic, Regani, Nisbet for short, Shakatano. Shakatano, it's a brilliant performance from him. Then we have to Campo, Curtis, Yuri Tugan in 20th, Ramirez, Granville, Opner, Langenberg. Sage is out of the race. And yeah, Finney Taylor's out. So the two non-finishers for this race are Finney Taylor and Louis Sage. As in fact, we're going to go on board with Langenberg as he's holding up McHugh here. And he makes a good move, he's up the inside. And McHugh getting very sideways through there. But hey, makes the move work. Back up front, entering the final lap of the race. Mihael Valjak is actually closing up on Yuri Too Good. But he's on his own and there's no threat from anyone. I'm sure he knows that. Valjak has done everything he could and this has been a brilliant race win, the most dominant of the year. Perhaps helped by incident, but he's still going to win this race by 10 plus seconds. But in second is the driver we all want to see. It is Thomas McHugh, because Thomas McHugh is also on the final lap. He's stuck behind the back markers, but he's in second, and he'll be desperately wanting to get them out the way. But at the moment, this is a championship winning position from the Irish driver. Sorry about my, well, I would call it a lisp, but I don't really know. As McHugh tries to go up the inside of Ockner there. The gap is 12 seconds in front, and the gap is 1 second behind, as he's going to go up the inside of Ockner. I believe that is all he'll need. As we're going to go up front in a second, as you can see, that is the Brabham, not Brabham, that's the Tyrrell. The Tyrrell is on the podium, everyone. As we're going to quickly cycle up to the front, as Mihael Valjak has won the Australian Grand Prix, but all eyes are not on him, as all eyes are on Thomas McHugh as he rounds the final corner. Thomas McHugh is your Season 1 AIRS champion with a second place. That closes it off. Well done, Thomas McHugh. You've done your nation proud. You are the world champion. Congratulations. Isabel Harvey finishes in third, and I don't know what happened at turn 1 there. As we're going to come back to that later, I'm going to quickly cycle down the points finishers. It's Coburn 4th, Smith 5th, Pope 6th, Barton 7th, and Murray 8th. Grada missing out on points in 9th, and De Jong in 10th. And as we're going to go to the final results, I can confirm to you now that Thomas McHugh is your world champion, winning the championship by 2 points. What a finale. But Mihael Valjak fought valiantly with his 7th win of the season, and it's really unfortunate that Valjak lost the championship, because obviously he won 3 more races than McHugh, but consistency is key when you're putting together a championship campaign. I've always said that, and Thomas McHugh has done an incredible job, and he is your world champion. I hope you really enjoyed that race. I certainly enjoyed it, and I cannot wait to get on to Season 2. McHugh will be carrying the number 1 plate for Williams next season, of course, with Valjak running the number 2. Well done, Thomas McHugh. As I said, you've done your nation proud, you've done McLaren proud, and you've done all of the other drivers proud. What a season. As I said, hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like on this video. Let us know what you thought, and yeah, absolutely. Thank you ever so much for watching. I've been Yuriality. This has been Season 1 of AIRS. Take care, everyone. Need to get my voice back. I'll see you very, very soon. Goodbye.